And up on the screen right now, you actually have a picture of a church. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but it's actually a very famous painting, painted by a very famous painter. Anyone have any idea who painted the painting on the screen in front of you right now? Back row? Van Gogh, that's exactly right. Vincent Van Gogh painted this painting that you see. What you may not know about Van Gogh is that Van Gogh was a socially progressive and idealistic young pastor. What? Like, I know Van Gogh was a painter, and I heard about the ear thing, but I never heard Van Gogh was a pastor, right? Yeah, Van Gogh actually was a pastor. Now, the problem is that he really clashed with the rigid respectability of the Dutch Reformed Church in which he served. And the year was 1878. Van Gogh spent his time ministering, and he was ministering to starving miners and roughnecks. He suffered alongside of them in complete solidarity. He was ill, he was dirty, he was cold, and by many he was seen as ugly, as he was serving the least of them, these miners in this mining community. Well, finally, the church at this time, they didn't care much about these people. They didn't care much about the ministry of the miners, and they really didn't care much about Van Gogh either. And so they abruptly cut off all financial support to Van Gogh. Well, Van Gogh didn't really know what to do, and so with that, he turned to art. Clearly not his first love, but he found the success that he missed in his life. He found a little bit of success with the ladies, success in society as people began to appreciate the art that he was doing. He spoke of the church once to his brother Theo. They were really, really good friends. And here's what he said. He said, "I just wish that they would only take me as I am." Think about that. I just wish they would only take me as I am. Early on in his life, about the age of 23, he wrote to his brother. The year was 1876, and listen to what Van Gogh said. He said, "I am still far from being what I want to be, but with God's help, I shall succeed." Oh, think about it. I'm so far from where I want to be, but with God's help, I will succeed. Now, this was early on in his life. As his life progressed, we can actually look at the last 2 months of Van Gogh's life. In the last 2 months, he was living inside of France, and he had painted, in the last 2 months of his life, finished 80 paintings in 2 months' time. And this guy was amazing what he was able to do. One of the paintings that he finished in this last 2 months of his life was this painting right here. Now, what you may not have noticed about this painting, it was a church in the locale where he was staying. But if you look closely at the church, it's really, really interesting what we see. You see there's two paths. Do you see the two paths? They go around both sides of the church. But the interesting thing about this church is that this church has no doors. There's two paths that go around it, but there's no way to get inside of it. You know, this painting was completed in June 1890. Van Gogh took his own life July 29th, 1890. I don't know if these two things are correlated, but I can sort of see and understand a little bit about where he was in his history with the church, to feel like there's paths to go around, but there's no way in for me. And maybe you're sitting here today, and that's the place where you are. The fact that you're sitting in a church right now still blows your mind, that you would actually walk through these doors and begin this kind of relate. You have no idea what's going to happen. Maybe you understand Van Gogh. Well, my goal really in today's message is to simply show you the door. To show you that you don't have to keep going the path around, that there is a door for you too today. Amen? Amen.